Good morning. Welcome back to the Red Mic. Happy Wednesday. These Red Mic messages are leadership and life lessons I've picked up mainly from 25 years as a public servant, 16 years as a youth football coach and scouting volunteer, and 10 years as a mediocre athlete with far more heart than actual physical ability. Today's Red Mic message is part two of yesterday's, which is more than a line on a resume. Sorry about that. Allergies are killing me today. We're going to dig into the second half of my discussion of why public servants, particularly from state and federal levels, often get passed over in the private sector and why that's a huge mistake. Shout out again to my friend Eileen Williamson. I've known her since college, and she inspired yesterday and today's Red Mic message. She had a column on LinkedIn. If you're on LinkedIn, go check her out. Now, yesterday I talked about how my own stretch of employment in 2015 through 2016 was frustrating. I got a lot of silence. There were a lot of reasons, I suspect, but I think a big part of it was that they were looking at, particularly when I was applying for jobs in the private sector, they were like, he's public sector, and they let their stereotypes in their head block out the reality of what they saw on my resume. So let's go into the second half of the list of reasons. Number 6, your networks aren't strong enough. Okay, maybe, but our networks are built on more than just business cards and lunches and profit margins. They're built on shared crisis response, interagency problem solving, frankly, a lot of professional trust. Yes, it's true that some people I know and I've known from government have gone on to lead in the private sector. They're too few and far in between, however. But I will tell you, when they give you a recommendation, it sticks, and you can trust that it's worth its weight, because we're not going to make a recommendation about somebody who was dead wood. We're just not. Number 7, you're going to be blocked by ethics rules and conflict of interest laws. I did notice that when I applied for a lot of jobs, they would say, have you ever been a government employee? Well, yeah, and then they would want, a list of X, Y, and Z that I did, and were you ever involved in these kind of contracts and things like that. By and large, unless you are directly involved in procurement or signing the contract, this is not going to be a problem for most of you. Those restrictions are narrow, they're pretty short term, and they're manageable. And they really have no impact whatsoever whether or not you apply for a job or why they shouldn't hire you. You won't adjust to private sector pace. Oh, please. We live in chaos. I cannot tell you how many times at no matter what agency I worked for, you get a call from the governor's office, or you get a call from a legislative office, or you get a call from a board member. They're appointed. Hey, I need you to do this. So-and-so's having trouble with their XYZ. They need help with this form. They need help filing this paperwork. They were late renewing their license, and they need to know what they can do. So there's that. But add on top of it budget cuts or last minute bill changes because somebody got mad because something completely unrelated to you or your agency or what you do got gummed up in the works, and now you've got a bill that you really hope passes, and there's not a thing you can do because the pace is out of your control. So budget cuts, legislative curveballs, changing leaderships, media calls, regulatory surprises, you name it, we've probably seen it. I mean, shoot, I worked at an agency that got shut down, we think in large part because of presidential politics. I'll have to tell you about that some other time. If that's not a fast pace, then what is? Get over yourself. Your resume is too long and it's too narrative driven. It's long because we've done a lot. Again, I've said that other duties as assigned is standard operation. You know, personally, I've led comms at regulatory agencies. I've coached what would be the equivalent of C-suite execs on speeches, on communication strategy. We've dealt with crisis response. We've managed complex requests for proposals. We've redesigned major operational processes. And all of this is under one job title usually. The outcomes are there. Yes, we should probably do a better job of putting those outcomes in our resumes. But a lot of you folks need to do a better job of reading between the lines, too. They don't always fit on a 1 or 2 page resume. And last but not least, you've had job security. You can't handle pressure. Job security? Tell me that when there's an $8 billion shortfall and we're being asked to cut our budgets back 10-15%, not of what we did last budget cycle, but maybe even the one before that. Even when the budget cycles are good, that doesn't mean job ease. We operate under scrutiny from the press, the public, the legislature, the executive branch. We know what pressure is. And all of those things happen at the same time. And when things go wrong, it's not just a bad review, it's a 3-inch headline. Do you have that issue? No, you probably don't. We know pressure. We work in it every day. It's like a warm bath. The water's fine. Come on in. All right? Yeah, you think you could do that? Maybe you could. Matter of fact, you probably could. But you know what? Don't complain about it. Don't criticize it unless you've been swimming in the same pool we have been. So, if you're in hiring, recruiting, decision making, take a hard look at the resume that says state agency or federal office. You're not just looking at a job title, you're looking at crisis management, cross-functional leadership, multi-purpose jobs, mission-driven execution, and a whole lot of dedication. Because we know that there's probably higher salaries out in the private sector. We know it beyond a doubt. So give us a break. We're not second tier. We're not backup options. We are built for hard things. And if you are a public servant trying to make the jump into the private sector, don't lose heart. The market might be slow to value your experience, but that doesn't mean that it's not valuable, and it doesn't mean that the work you do doesn't matter. If you've served, stand tall. Service is a strategy. And that's today's Red Mike message. I hope you found it interesting. I hope you found it helpful. Thanks again to Eileen Williamson for motivating me for these last 2 Red Mike messages. Would also like to have a shout out to a protein shake company. It's called Flip My Life. Heard about them on the Mike Rowe podcast. A guy named Neil McDonough, the classic bad guy. He's been a bad guy in Yellowstone, in Tulsa King. He was in the Flash series on CW. Seems like a great guy. He's got a movie out now called The Last Rodeo. But he was talking on the Mike Rowe. He mentioned this protein shake company that he's involved in. Said he started taking it because this stunt guy on set was just ripped, and he wanted to find out more about what he was doing in his healthcare and nutrition regime, and told him about this. He tried it out. He liked it so much that he invested in the company. Said all that to say this. Last night I reached out to him on Instagram, and usually you reach out on social media. You might go an hour or a day or even forever, and they won't get back in touch with you. Flip My Life got back with me within minutes. I explained the issue I was having. I noticed it was a little gritty. Well, come to find out, I needed to put it into a blender. Well, And then they gave me some other menu ideas, adding an egg, or if I wanted to add avocado or something. I added I added a banana, and all is well, man. I just tried it a little while ago. Yeah, I just needed to put it in the magic blender, bzz. But said all that to say this, man, they are responsive. Talk about customer service. That's the kind of customer service that we should all aspire to. They were quick, they were friendly, they were Johnny on the spot. So, Flip My Life. Unpaid. It cost me money to use Flip My Life, but I like it. It's a great product and seems to be a great company with a lot of great customer service. Again, thanks for being here. Sorry for the commercial. I appreciate you. I'll see you again tomorrow. Don't forget, life is short. Drink the bourbon.